To your money, discussing retirement investment strategies. Let's get to Meagan Phelps, founder, Empress Investment Group. Thanks so much for being here. We have a very tricky environment, right? I mean, you must have people calling. It must be tough to be in your position in this type of year.
It can be. It's definitely a challenge the longer this drags on, right? People have now had 7, 8 months of opening statements, seeing decreased values in those 401ks, IRAs, brokerage accounts. And of course, people had become accustomed to seeing immediate kind of V-shaped recoveries on any pullback, and we're not seeing that. So people are starting to become more impatient. 70% of people over the age of 50 are really concerned that this bear market, coupled with inflation, is going to ultimately impact the way they distribute money and the longevity of their portfolios over time. And as Warren Buffett says, inflation swindles almost everybody. And so we're seeing that across the board. People who are just starting out, accumulating wealth, lower wage earners, and then, of course, people who have significant wealth. Everybody is feeling the impacts of this environment.
And at this point now, if you have 70% of those over 50, I mean, that's a majority of people that are very worried. I wonder if there could be some contrarian indicators here at all. In the meantime, it's really evident. We're testing lows. We have rates moving higher. Are there any sort of foolproof? I know you have 5 tips for us today, but is there any sort of contrarian indicator or anything like that that you're sort of counting on?
No, I think in terms of, what could be a plus could be the midterm elections, but is that going to hold? That's debatable. We try to focus on long-term returns. We know historically the S&P 500 has averaged above 11%. So having a well-diversified plan, focusing on different asset classes, ensuring that you have, if you're on a fixed income, that those are going to be reliable. In terms of some of the 5 tips to navigate inflation, one thing that we're strongly encouraging retirees to look at is if you have the benefit of a pension through your existing employer, it might be a great time to look at taking a lump sum distribution. Now, I know it can be appealing to go for that monthly consistent income from your employer. However, rolling it out in a lump sum could make sense right now because the lump sum amount is calculated using present values of the monthly income stream, coupled with mortality tables and interest rates that are published monthly by the IRS. And as those rates go up, so does the lump sum amount that you could potentially roll out. Now, once you roll it out, we see a slew of reasons that could be, I think, really powerful in an inflationary period. The first is that you have control over what asset classes you're going into, right? So you can pick up defensive names that have pulled back. You can pick up, more aggressive sectors of the market that are down, 30, 40, 50%. So it could be a nice buying opportunity. And you can also integrate guaranteed investments or products into your portfolio that will provide consistency. We really like fixed indexed annuities that provide principal protection and guaranteed income streams, and they have a hedge against inflation. And that if they're linked to an index and that index has growth in maybe the 10, 15, 20 years you're in retirement, you can see an uptick in your monthly income. Whereas a pension through your employer oftentimes doesn't have that benefit. So rolling the money out can be beneficial for those reasons, along with things like beneficiary designations. Through a employer-sponsored plan, you're limited on the options available. When it rolls out, you can set up different beneficiary designations that can be more tax efficient if you plan to pass large sums of money to other generations.
And you said also when you talked about Roth IRAs, so taking these lump sums, moving now into Roth IRAs, just talk about the Roth IRA one more time, why that's a good idea and what age group that might be good for.
I love Roth conversion right now because in a bear market, right, depending on how you're allocated, if you're down 10%, 20, 30%, whatever it is, converting money now to Roth IRA, you are paying taxes one time. That money, once it makes its way into the Roth, is never going to be taxed again. So it's going to accumulate, of course, tax-free, and then distributions, tax-exempt. From an inflationary standpoint, that means you're going to have more money in your pocket to offset and act as a hedge against inflation. In terms of age, any age makes sense. I mean, if you're later on and you're in your late 70s, and we have to do some calculations to determine if it still is a viable solution for you. But based on the tax bracket, you want to make sure you're not, the one kind of cautionary piece here is make sure you're not pushing yourself into a higher income tax bracket by converting too much in the current year. You don't have to convert it all. You can do partial conversions over a period of time. And if you believe tax rates are going up, now could be a fantastic time to do that.
Wonderful to speak with you. Meagan Phelps, Empress Investment Group, CFP and founder there. Thank you so much, Meagan. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Nicole.